I'm hoping for that. Centurion and Wanderers should give you that little bit of extra bounce. But yes, the two first wickets were, I suppose, in a big picture, you want to even test yourself. You know, you might get a slow wicket in the World Cup. So, from a looking ahead point of view, a good challenge for us. But certainly from our own condition point of view, a little bit slow. That you'd rather want something a little bit more pace and bounce. Especially if Dussen Miller is bowling, you know, trying to bowl some pace and the ball's not really getting up. You're taking your X factor away from it. But I'm expecting Centurion and Joburg to have a little bit more consistency and bounce.
Following up on that, I mean, it's a bit strange thing that Dussen plays in PE and Durban where conditions don't suit him and now he's out the squad.
Yeah, it's just, we looked at Dussen and he's bowled a lot of overs over the last while, and physically you could sense that his body was getting tired. He just dropped a little bit in pace, and that's understandable. The amount of overs that he's bowled over the last 3 weeks, and especially if 95% of them are bounces, it will take a lot out of your body. So yeah, not ideal in the sense that he played those first 2 games on slow wickets, but it's about looking after him as well. The message to him is go and rest a bit, go and relax, give yourself a little bit of a break, not bowl too much balls at home, and then that engine is full and ready for when Sri Lanka comes back or they come here for the test matches. Yeah, well, the fact that Lungi got injured opened a slight gap to have a look at who's the next guy. So when Lungi's not playing, now for the first time you actually have game time available to look at different bowlers, because if he was fit, we would have possibly played. We wouldn't have looked at as many bowlers because there wouldn't have been opportunity. So you would have gone on probably a bit of gut instinct and looked at who is your best extra seamer and picked him. But because he's not available now, and it's especially this series, because the next series obviously Lungi will be back. So it's about just having a look who else is out there. Obviously we know now with Paro what he does. He bowled really well that first 4 or 5 overs with a new ball. Dussen has got X factor and pace. Other guy we've mentioned is not Kier. He's got that X factor and pace. So he's also still in the back of our minds, trying to see if we can have a look at him. And then Buren is a left-arm seamer that swings the ball. So because we know who our 3 is, and there's been an injury, it's just allowed, I suppose, a bigger pool of fast bowlers, which was never the plan. It's just because Lungi is injured now. You're giving yourself a little bit more of a look at the rest of the guys. Yes, we've said that those 3 will go and they will play, and then we need one more fast bowler, and particularly like you're trying to think ahead of if someone got injured, and the 3 of them are all bowlers that can take wickets. You know, Dale, Lungi, KG, they're wicket takers, and we certainly feel with the balance of the side that we want to go with, our strongest 11 is having that X factor in our bowling attack. You know. As I said in the past, we've always played with a lot of all-rounders, but we didn't feel we got the amount of wickets that we would have liked, and certainly when we changed our bowling attack around and picked our best 3 bowlers, that changed. So that 4th guy or that extra guy will be someone that we will think that can just jump into that role when someone gets injured. But the issue with that is it's one position. So what we did in the first game is we try to look at having both, because you are playing games to see who is going to be your number 7. But what happens then if you play both of them? Then there's a similarity in your bowling attack. You know, you have 2 medium pacers bowling from overs 10 to 30. So then you lose a little bit of that edge in terms of having your proper fast bowlers bowling together, and that's why we changed Pato in the previous game. Dussen bowled really well in the first game. He was the most economical bowler, but we like the balance what we're trying to go with the 4 seamers and the 7 batters, or the 3 seamers and a spinner. So that's why we changed Pato. But the challenge now with the all-round is you only have so many games. So at the moment, Andy played really well the previous game, so you have to run with that. You have to give him another opportunity to do that. And then over the course of the other 2 games and then Sri Lankan series where there's 5, you know, possibility of looking at 1 or 2 more and then make a decision on that. It's not ideal, but I think because certainly from a batting point of view, you need someone to say, this is that I'm scoring runs consistently. As soon as someone does that, then it will make the gap a little bit smaller for the other rounders. At the moment, so Andy has done that the previous game. So if he can keep doing it, then obviously then he puts his name right at the front of that. But yeah, I mean, Dwayne is still there, Vian Mulder is still very much in our plans, and then Chris Morris is still there. Well, obviously Murray has been injured as well the whole time, but yeah, those are the 4. Yeah, that's as we said before this series. You know, you're looking at guys like Rassie, Aiden, almost like playing is a shootout between the 2 of them, and it's harsh. But now you've added Rassie as well, so there's a lot of competition in the batting department, and Rassie has taken that with both hands. He's obviously scoring runs, but the how that he's scoring runs is also a big positive for us as a team. What I do like about Rassie as well, he's very versatile. He can bat anywhere. So if injury happened on the day, you can move around your batting line pretty easily with him. Yeah, so he's done very well and made life tough for the rest of the players as well. That is the thinking, but it will certainly never be thinking against subcontinent teams. So when you do feel there's an opportunity to look at your Southern Hemisphere teams, and you look more at personnel. You look at personnel. You know, you have 1 or 2 guys opening the batting that possibly prefers the ball coming on, and they've got a slight weakness against wrist spin. Then we'll definitely explore that option. But yeah, to go with 2 spinners against Pakistan obviously would suit to them more than they would having KJ Rabada or Dale Steyn running anything. I did see it. Yeah, so obviously he's apologised. He's taken responsibility for it. It's out of our hands. The ICC has got to deal with that now. But obviously, when you come to South Africa, you've got to be very careful when you go to racial comments. I'm sure he didn't mean it like that, but he's taken responsibility for it. So we'll have to see what the outcome of that will be. I mean, Andy said he didn't hear it. It didn't feel like it was. I mean, obviously they said it to him, but he didn't hear it. And so from us, I suppose maybe because we didn't understand it, makes a difference. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't sit. It's certainly not something likely that we take as a team. But also the fact that he's apologised straight away means that there is regret towards it. But it's not something that we will just brush under the table. We are a very gracious team. We forgive easily. Maybe not so much in Australia. Yeah, we've just been a little bit rusty in both departments, batting and bowling. We haven't put even close to a performance that we did in Australia. In Australia, that last game we played was very, very good. But as I said, the injuries does take you a little bit back. Obviously, taking Quinton out of the team, taking Dale out of the team, taking Lungi out of the team, you're not playing your best team. And for me, that's okay, because we still, the guys who are playing in their spots are guys that will be guys that makes up for the 15 that goes to the World Cup. So it's been a blessing in disguise that we could look at more players, and someone like Rassie has come through. If Quinny wasn't there, it would have been a little bit harder because Rassie and Ash are still there, and they also need a good chance. So yeah, it's given guys opportunity. So for tomorrow, it's just a little bit more consistency with bat or with ball, or both. We haven't had in the first game we batted well, but there was an opportunity to push on. We didn't do that. The second game we started badly, but then we reacted very well through the middle there with a great partnership. And the same thing, first innings with the ball, or first game with the ball, we were a little bit tentative, and we were just not as effective in trying to get wickets. And the second game came back with real clarity and a purpose to try and get wickets. And the bowlers was on it the whole time to try and make sure that they're thinking the whole time is seeing how they can get wickets, and that was clear for me to see. I do sense it, but it's also it's a good sense for me to see, because the thing that we're looking for, myself and Gibbo, is players to be free and to take a game on in the way that we think we need to play to be contenders to win a World Cup. So if we are a little bit pensive and tentative, then it's something we want to address, because that's not the way that we want to play. Going to the World Cup, we want to have a braveness about our cricket. As I said, we want to be free in the sense that mentally we're not thinking about other stuff. We're just focused on what we need, or the style of cricket that we want to play. So yes, I can sense it, but it's a good sense for me in the sense that it's something that you can speak about, so that there's learning, so that you can get better with it, because that's the 5 or 10 or 20% that we would need to improve going to England. No, it's normal. It's normal to have nerves. It's normal to have, thinking about selection, thinking about all those emotions that go through you is normal. But the communication for me and the coaches is to have all this noise and to just park it, and to make sure you focus on the style that we want to play as a team, and then see how players deal with it. Can they put what they're going through mentally aside and just focus on what the job at hand is? And some of the players have stepped up big time, and one or two of the other players you can see still needs to get a little bit more free in that sense, and that's something I think you'll see over the next 3 games. Yeah, well, obviously if you look at your balance of your squad, you'll have an extra fast bowler, extra spinner. We've got our extra spinner. Extra fast bowler is still something that we're looking at. Extra all-rounder would be an extra guy, and then you need to make a call. Is it an extra batter, or is it an extra keeper batter? And then that becomes where it gets a bit tricky. So that's when selection will start becoming interesting. Once again, I think the lack of our two, especially Lungi and Kock has been exceptional at the death for us, and I really do think that they are going to be trump cards for us in the World Cup. Their composure at the end is brilliant. So with Lungi not there, and also Dale not there, Dussen is playing his second ODI game. Obviously he's got great skills, and he showed that in domestic cricket, but doing it at international level, it does take time to get there. So I think the fact that we've had a few personnel missing there, I had to bring KG back earlier than I wanted to, because I wanted to get him out because he was getting runs. And we did bowl them out before 50 overs, but then we don't have someone else with him that can nail their skills, and still also trying to find their feet in what they were doing. And also a fact where we were taken a little bit by surprise, to be honest with you. We didn't expect him to do that. I think your normal thing as a bowler is you think that eventually he'll hit one straight up in the air, and that eventually didn't come. Yeah, that's a very tricky balance. Obviously, ideally, I think we said before that close to Pakistan, we want to have definitely our closer to the team that we think is going to playing as much games as possible. But as I mentioned before, the injuries has made that not possible. So therefore, there's a few players coming in. But yeah, I think for the next 3 games, it's still trying to give guys opportunity and find where they fit in the team. And then by Sri Lanka, it will be a little bit smaller. But I think even still then, there will be maybe 1 or 2, but not more, of guys that potentially can get into that World Cup 15. Well, there's 2 ways of looking at it. That's certainly one way, where you have continuity, where guys are playing the whole time together and they're gelling in the roles that they're playing, and that is possibly an ideal world. And then there's the other side, where you're trying to find what's your best balance, best balance in the team, but also your best balance in the squad. And I think both you can look at positively and negatively. I remember before, as we always played the same team, the same guys played all the games leading up to a tournament the whole time, and then 2 months later you get together as a team again, and there's so much time that's gone in between then, with going to the IPL, that it almost gets lost in that time. So then it's about when you get to the tournament, the build up to those few games, how then you can get guys fitting into the role, how you can get the best form players in the team. So I see the benefit in both angles.